National Interfaith and Religion Organization for Peace has declared 30 days of prayer and fasting for former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The group said Obasanjo's problem is beyond ordinary, hence the call for prayer. The Interfaith group said the call for prayer became imperative following the outburst of the former president on the state of the nation. Bishop Musa Garba, the president of the group, at a press conference in Abuja, said a normal human being would not make such comment credited to Obasanjo.
A former president, Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo, who wrote a point for consign and action. The content of the piece written by Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo were disturbing. The piece was disturbing because of what it connotes. On the surface, it appears like a recrimination of the present administration. But those led in the spirit see the content like the confession of someone that has committed too many spiritual atrocities while under the influence of some evil forces. Unfortunately, maybe because of the acceptability practice of trials by ordeal and lynching that is still practiced in some parts of the country, people have been attacking Dr. Obasanjo instead of listening to his cry for help. The old man is practically seeking a solution from the things went wrong during his tenure as president of Nigeria between May of 1999 and May 2007. And all many people are doing is to condemn him without offering a helping hand. We understand that there are political, economic, medical, and security dimension to issue. But things happened to Dr. Obasanjo now was beyond the ordinary. For those areas we identify as mortal and ordinary. The problem with the former president is spiritual, and it is becoming a thing of shame for citizens. It is a reproach that the former leader must be saved from. It is a reproach that the former leader must be saved from because it affects the entire country.
Bishop Garba said during the fasting period, Nigerians should pray for the troubled soul of Obasanjo as well tell God to chase away any problem in his life. The Safe Humanity Advocate Center, a human rights group, has blamed the Borno state government over the plight of no fewer than 100,000 refugees recently expelled from Cameroon. Cameroon is currently home to more than 370,000 refugees, including some 100,000 from Nigeria, according to the UN High Commission for Refugees. Recently, the Cameroonian government started the eviction of the refugees, with a larger proportion of the affected persons being women, children, and persons that are infirm on account of old age, injury, or poor health. Thomas Ejuma, executive director of the group, at a press conference in Abuja, claimed that Cameroon made the decision to sack Nigerians refugees as pariah because Borno state government failed in its responsibility to displace citizens. Ejima said that despite that the state government collecting and pocketing huge allocation, there was no road to Bran, one of the community housing the IDPs.
The Borno state government consistently misled the federal government as to the true state of affairs on ground, such that the necessarily federal interventions are planned on the strength of such misleading presentation by the state government. The failure of the state government to properly manage relief efforts including the chronic theft and diversion of relief materials by its officials, created hardship in the internally displaced persons, IPDs, camps, which made taking flight across international borders more attractive to persons dislocated by Boko Haram activities.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has advised Nigerians to resist the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from returning to power in 2019, claiming that the motive behind the party's desperation to win this year's election is to loot the country. Osinbajo said Nigerian economy would have collapsed long ago but for President Muhammadu Buhari's honesty, reminding that only an honest and selfless leader can be trusted with the nation's wealth. In spite of the barrage of attacks by eminent Nigerians and opposition PDP cascading to a trader's money policy, Osinbajo described the scheme as one of the major policies of President Buhari's government because it centered around the youth and the poor Nigerians. The Vice President and All Progressive Congress Vice Presidential candidate in the 2019 presidential election said in Ado-Ekiti during the Roundtable Mentorship Program on Micro, Small and Medium-Scale Enterprise in Ado-Ekiti, state capital, that Traders Money Program was dispersed in Ado-Ekiti, Metropoli, Ikere, Omo-Ekiti, and all in Ekiti State. The number 2 Nigerian man also visited Iworoko-Ekiti, where trailer rammed into market and killed over 15 people about some weeks ago.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has refused to call off strike despite the earlier marching order for its representative at a meeting with the lecturers' body to its effect. After about 4 hours of the meeting held at the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment presided by Minister Senator Chris Ogunge, with the end result was deadlock. ASU President Biodu Uguyemi said they have not suspended the strike, that the discussion will continue after a later date. After a consultation with their members, he further states that the federal government has reacted to their proposal, but there are still areas that need to be sorted out. Meanwhile, Senator Chris Ogunge, who led the government delegation, reacts that in spite of the substantial commitment to ASU demand, the body refuses to shift ground. Ogunge says he appeared at the meeting with hopes of ending the strike as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari, as it is unfortunate the aim is not achieved.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it has uncovered plans by some politicians to use food vendors around polling units for vote buying in the forthcoming general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this when he received a delegation of European Union observation team in Abuja. INEC boss said the commission is determined to improve on elections and ensure that vote counts, adding that it has taken steps to address this disturbing trend of vote buying by politicians.
However, following recent consultations with stakeholders across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, the attention of the Commission has been drawn to a new plan by some political actors to use food vendors around polling units with large voter population as collection points for cash for votes, as well as other forms of material inducement to voters on election day. We are aware of this trend. We want to assure Nigerians that it will not work. I wish to assure the EU that our preparation for the 2019 general election is on course. We have had a series of very assuring meetings with the security agencies in order to ensure that processes are protected, the right of voters to vote freely is safeguarded, access for observers and the media guaranteed, the election transparent, and the outcome a true reflection of the will of the Nigerian people.
EU Election Observation Team Leader Mrs. Maria Arena, while commending INEC for its readiness to conduct elections, called on all stakeholders in the election to abide by the rules.
We know that it's an important election period for you. We know that you are commissioners really busy, but we know that the door of INEC is open for European observers and experts that we are working with in our team, so we are really grateful. We want for this first meeting that we have with you to have your concerns and your priority during this election. We know that you have done a lot of work, but we are at the eve of the election, and perhaps you have some message to give to us and some concerns that you will bring to us in our job as team observer. So
the Commission also received a delegation of ECOWAS election observers in Abuja. In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
Director of Youth Mobilization All Progressive Congress Presidential Campaign Council, Tony Nwoye, said youth will be head of ministry and parastatals if President Muhammadu Buhari is re-elected. Nwoye stated this in Abuja at the news conference to launch nationwide campaign for Buhari re-election in Abuja. He said that the nationwide youth mobilization campaign was targeted at convincing Nigerian youth, students, that they could trust Buhari. This, he said, was especially so based on the positive youth development credential of President Muhammadu Buhari from 2015 to date. Nwoye, who is also the member of the House of Representatives, said he had secured the commitment of President Buhari to change the involvement of youth in his administration were re-elected. He further said that the youth in the country were committed to mobilizing and giving President Buhari over 20 million votes in the coming election. Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has listed the names of 30 people who are working with President Muhammadu Buhari, who he says are corrupt. Atiku's special assistant on public communication, Frank Schwaibu, who put down the list on behalf of Atiku, said most of the people featuring on the list are mostly party members, while others ran to the party to seek refuge from anti-graft agencies. The 30 corrupt people working with Buhari, according to Atiku, include prominent members of APC like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former Lagos State Governor, national leader of the APC, Abba Kyari, Chief of Staff to the President Muhammadu Buhari, Adam Oshiomhole, the former Governor of Edo State and National Chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, a serving Senator and former Governor of Nasarawa State, Babashi Alawa, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Falani Koka, Lagos Socialite and Director General of Nigerian Tourism Corporation, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information,